I believe we all know what this is. This is called fiberboard. And that is why I'm here today. I'm here to answer all the questions that I have been receiving concerning this material. Most people even asked me that they have noticed in most of my videos that I don't use fiberboard. So I'm going to explain. And I would like you to listen very attentively. Now we have so many types of fiberboard, but you see this particular one, that is the most used fiberboard. And I don't know what is so interesting about this particular type of fiberboard or quality of fiberboard, because amongst all the qualities of fiberboard, this is one of the least in quality. We have others that are water resistant, but this is not water resistant. It is paper. So let's proceed. Now, where you are allowed to use fiberboard, or where I will advise you to use fiberboard while making your footwear, is number one, if you're making a shoe, you can use a fiberboard as your insole. If you use a fiberboard as your insole while making a shoe, make sure you are going to stitch that shoe. Now, if you are making a heel, high heel, you can use a fiberboard because you need that toughness while you put your shank and the rest of the other component for your insole. You need that stiffness for the insole, so you need a fiberboard. But here is the secret. You should not allow your fiberboard to face your insole, your sole. Your fiberboard shouldn't face your sole, because the capability when it comes to bonding that this fiber has is very low. If you allow this to face the sole, once water gets in between this and your sole, automatically it is going to pull after a while because it is paper. Now, the solution is, after crafting your insole with this fiberboard, you use mako, a light mako, to cover it before you wrap the whole thing, so that instead of this to face your sole, the mako will face your sole, because mako is more capable of having a very superb bond compared to this. That is the secret one. I know you might get confused because you see a lot of footwears in the market that they use only this fiberboard. I'm coming to that. I'm going to tell you reasons why they are using it. Now, like I said before, if you're using it for your shoe, make sure you're going to stitch the shoe. But if you don't want to stitch that shoe and still want to have a very nice, long-lasting bond, you're going to repeat the same process. Use mako to cover the surface that is going to face your sole. Understand? That is if you must use this, if you want your insole to have some toughness. You understand? Because it is shoe. When you place your shank, you want the insole to have some toughness. You understand? Because of the heel. So you use your mako to cover the surface that is going to face your sole, so that when you apply your gum, the mako and your sole will give you a very good and nice bonding. That is secondly. Now, before I go over to easy wear, that is slippers, sandals and slides, I would like to tell you the reasons why most foreign shoes and easy wears comes with the insole that has this fiberboard. And also most shoemakers around you who do bulk production, why they use this fiberboard, I'm going to tell you now. The number one reason why most shoemakers use fiberboard, which you don't know, and you just jump in, then follow them to begin to use it. It is nice, but you're going to understand why. The fiberboard is very cheap. Amongst all the materials used in making insole, fiberboard is one of the cheapest. This particular one. Remember, I said we have so many other qualities, but this is the most used quality when it comes to fiberboards. Now, shoemakers who produce bulk footwear for the market, they don't sell directly to their consumers. They sell to the wholesalers, and the wholesalers sells to the retailers, and then the retailers sells to the consumers. So now you understand the chain. Due to the chain, the consumer doesn't know the producer of that footwear. So they have no business with the producer, and the producer has no business with the consumer. So even if there is a complaint, the brand is still safe. You understand me now? The brand is still safe even if there is quality complaint. Now, this fiberboard, because these people make bulk production for the market, and you know there is competition and price, what they care about so much is the finishing and the neatness of the product. They don't care about the material used. I want you to take note of that, because I have done bulk production before for the market and I know what I'm saying. They don't care about the quality. What they care about is the finishing, the look of the product. So these shoemakers, for them to have profit, they go for fiberboard because it is cheaper. Now I want to tell you something that will shock you. One day I went into one of the shoemaking market around me. So I was walking around and eventually I came into somewhere that is kind of hidden. That's a very corner area. So I saw a young man. He was seated, he was not sitting in a public place. The place is a hidden place, you understand, where people cannot easily see him. So when I looked, when he saw me, he became uncomfortable. What was he doing? He was using carton. Carton, you know what is carton? Ordinary carton as his insole. I want you to understand something, to picture something here. So he was wrapping cartons as the insole of the footwear they are going to make, because that footwear is for the market. It is bulk production. You get the point now? Now, if you don't know all these things, when you produce your own footwear, the same footwear, the same design, the next person, that is if you are producing for the market, the next person might be selling at the rate of 3,000. And you, after calculating your cost of production, you find out that your cost is almost 3,000 too. You have not even added your profit. Your cost price is 3,000 too per footwear, but the other person is selling at 3,000. And you might be wondering, sometimes they might even sell, let's say, 2,800, and your cost price is 3,000 too. And you will be wondering, what actually is the problem? Does it mean that these people don't buy materials? Do they get the materials free? this is a secret I'm leaking to you now if you are making bulk production for the market. So that is one of the reasons why this fiber board is used. And if you are very observant, most of those footwears that are used, that fiber board is used as their insoles. If you are very observant, places where these footwears are sold, there is always a cobbler close to the sellers. Once the consumer buys these footwears, they know already, they know the quality they are buying. They will give it to these cobblers. They will put pin or rather stitch around the soles and the insole. You understand me now? They have to reinforce it, because if not, after a while, the insole is going to pull from the sole. That is fiber board for you. Now, with this few explanation, I hope you have understood something. Now I'm going over to using fiber board or using any other material for your insole while making easy wears, slippers, sandals, and slides. This is my advice, because a lot of us have abused this fiber board, and this material you're seeing here can send your brand to extinction if you're not careful. If you're making bulk production for the market, that is, you are not selling directly to your consumers, the consumers of your product, you are free to use fiber board. But if you are selling direct to your consumers, you are the one marketing your brand, I will advise you, don't use this as your insole if you're making slippers, sandals, or slide. Then it is not totally condemned. The material that you are supposed to use as your insole while making slippers, sandals, or slide, you can use Mako. Mako is very good for your insole when it comes to long-lasting bonding. If you don't want to have problem or complaints concerning bonding, just make sure you use Mako for your insole while making your sandals, slide, and slippers. You can also use Mako for your shoes without using fiber board. But when it comes to heel, you need fiber board because you need that toughness. Because you know the heel has curves and you need that toughness to get those curves intact. So these are the few things I'm going to share with you in this video, and I hope they are clearly stated. In summary, if you're making your shoes or your heels, after cutting out your insole, use Mako, a light Mako, to cover the surface that is going to meet with your sole, so that you're going to have a very superb bonding and long-lasting bonding. That is for shoes and high heel. Then if you are going to make slippers, sandals, and slides, use Mako. We have different millimeters of Mako depending on what you want to have as your result. We have 4 millimeters, we have 6, we have 8, and then we have 10. But I would advise that in normal circumstance where you want to have a normal design and the normal height of sole, you should use 4 and 6 millimeters. Then, like I said before, if you're going to use this fiber board, if you must use it that you are so much in love with it, then use Mako, that is Mako 2 millimeters, to cover the surface that is going to meet with your sole. I hope you understand that clearly. So if you have any further question concerning this fiber board, then you can drop it in the comment section, and I'm going to answer the questions once I see them. And also note that fiber boards are not totally bad, but the problem is that most beginners, they abuse it. They use it where they are not supposed to use it. But if you know all the do's and don'ts of this fiber board, you are not going to have any problem with it. Even we use it for stiffener, that is toe puff, and a lot of other things. So thank you for watching this video. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon if you have not, because more videos are still coming on the way. Have a nice day and see you in my next video.